and to understand that every moment of life offers you something beautiful, something to see. If you're victimized, it's because you're telling yourself that the world ought to be different than it is. That's what most prayer is for a lot of people. It's a neurotic kind of prayer. It's the prayer that says, "Dear God, please make the world different than it is. Please, that the world is the way I want it to be, rather than the way you created it." And it isn't that way. People in themselves, I think, are afraid to be God. We're afraid to be God. We're afraid to have God within us. We're afraid to be our own creator of what we want for ourselves. Instead, we want it to be something outside of us. We want someone else to do it for us, like God or like Mother, the way she used to be, or whatever it will be. And until you're willing to be God, that is, within you, allow yourself to be that moral, effective human being who is doing the things that are going to make life better for you and everybody else. Until you're willing to do that yourself, all it is hoping that somebody else will do it. And much of what is considered contemporary organized religion is a very neurotic notion that God is going to do it for us, instead of the belief that we're going to do it for ourselves. The place at the top, which is way, way up there at the ceiling, is what I call mastery, where you are to your own life like a great painter is to his or her creation, molding it and shaping it, reacting, having self-creation, being into the person that you want to be, and being able to react and handle every situation that comes along, and understanding that happiness is not something that you strive for, that you go after, that it is something that is always within you, and you can have it any time, anything that you're doing. Not very many people get a hold of that. They think there are happy things to do and unhappy things to do. Happiness is available for you anytime you want it, whether you're cleaning out your closet, whether you're sitting on the can, whether you're changing your baby's diaper, whether you're working on a project that is exciting for you, whether you're going on a camping trip, whatever it is that you're doing, that happiness is something that's available to you. Normal people don't speak the kind of language I'm talking transcendent kind of language, that when you're around these kind of people, they inspire you, even if they're not even trying to convince you of anything. They have an aura almost about them that you know you're around a special human being. It's like their presence motivates, because they transcend the typical. They transcend the normal and go into areas that no one ever dreamt of before, and don't even think about the consequences of whether it's going to work or not work. That isn't even an issue for them. A man of knowledge, Carlos Castaneda wrote about in A Separate Reality. He said a man of knowledge lives by acting, not by thinking about acting, and not by wishing that he had done something that he hadn't. He said a man of knowledge understands that what we're doing in life really doesn't matter, but he acts as if it does, so that when his acts are over, he retreats in peace. And whether they worked or didn't, whether it was good or bad, was right or wrong, is in no part, any part of his concern. It's like understanding that if you're going to get things done in life, you've got to be able to transcend all of the reasons why it can't be done. The ability to not judge the world, but to accept it for the way it is. The ability to say, these are the conditions of my life now. When somebody tries to use guilt on them, instead of them buying it, they just kind of pass, and it goes past them, and they're too busy being involved in their lives to be thinking guilt, to be thinking worry, to be concerned about what everybody thinks about me, to call people up and say, these are my problems, and let me tell you all the things that are wrong with me, and let me tell you about my diseases, and let me tell you about my colds and my backaches, and they don't spend their lives on that negative side. They're consumed almost with living and enjoying, and most importantly, with making the world a better place for everybody.